There was a man named Ethan who lived in a small town near the edge of a desert. For years, life felt like a dry riverbed to him. He prayed every night, God, please help me. God, please open a door. God, please show me a sign. But nothing seemed to change. Months became years. The job he wanted never came. The relationship he hoped would heal remained broken. The financial burden only grew heavier. Eventually, Ethan stopped expecting answers. He still prayed, but his prayers became smaller, softer, almost apologetic. One evening, after another difficult day, Ethan sat alone beside an abandoned river channel outside town. The river had been dry for decades. People called it the Dead River. As the sun began to set, Ethan whispered, God, are you even listening? The silence felt endless. Then an old man appeared walking along the riverbank. His clothes were simple. His face carried a peace Ethan couldn't explain. The old man sat beside him. Without introducing himself, he asked, Why do you think the river is dead? Ethan shrugged. Because there's no water. The old man smiled. Just because you can't see the water doesn't mean it's gone. Ethan frowned. What does that even mean? The man pointed toward the cracked earth. Deep below this riverbed, water is already moving. Ethan looked confused. The old man continued. Long before a river appears on the surface, it begins underground. Long before you see life, life is already moving. Then he looked directly into Ethan's eyes. And long before you pray, God is already answering. Those words struck Ethan's heart. For the first time in years, he felt something he hadn't felt before. Hope. The old man stood and began walking away. Ethan called after him. Wait! Who are you? The man smiled. A reminder. And then he disappeared beyond the hills. Days passed. Nothing dramatic happened. No miracle. No lightning from heaven. No instant breakthrough. But something inside Ethan changed. Instead of asking God if he was listening, Ethan began listening for God's voice. Instead of focusing on what was missing, he started noticing what was already present. A friend unexpectedly offered him work. A relationship slowly began healing. Opportunities appeared where there had once been closed doors. Little by little, life began flowing again. Months later, heavy rains arrived in the region. For the first time in generations, water filled the old riverbed. The entire town gathered to watch. Children laughed. Families celebrated. And Ethan stood quietly at the riverbank. Tears filled his eyes, because he finally understood. The river hadn't started that day. The river had been moving long before anyone could see it. The surface was simply catching up to what was already happening underneath. And so was his life. That evening, Ethan whispered a final prayer. Thank you, God, not for answering his prayers, but for teaching him that the answer had been moving toward him all along. And as the river flowed under the golden sunset, Ethan realized something he would never forget. God's silence is not his absence. Sometimes the river's already coming. You just can't see it yet.